So I just wanted to say, start off by telling us a little bit about yourself to our readers and your journey into politics. It's
Okay.
been your decade-long journey as such in the political field. So if you can give us a small background about why you wanted to join politics and.
See, actually, I come from a very humble background. I'm sure like lots of people know me as Food King Sharad Babu. I'm a Bits Pilani and I'm Ahmedabad graduate. So I used to sell idlis on the street along with my mother in Maripakam. So through my hard work and my studies, I rose up to get an admission from Bits Pilani, and then after that, I could go to IIM Ahmedabad as well. So after that, I never thought I should start a company, but because of the problems faced by the poor people, I used to watch my mother drink water at the end of the day. I thought she really fond of water, but later on I realized that she's not having food. She gave all the food to five of us, and that's the reason she's drinking water. So then when I came to college, I came to know that it's not only my family, but there are like 30 crore families who day in and day out go empty stomach to bed. So then I thought I should do something for them. So that's the birth of my company. I should start a company and give jobs to them. But after starting a company, after I'm Ahmedabad, I realized that now this is, I mean, jobs and entrepreneurs is not the solution, but the politics is the base of it. Because I came to know about lots of scams like 5,000 crore scams, 10,000 crore scams, like 1.76 lakh crore scams and stuff like that. So I realized just for a poor kid like me, per year it takes around 10,000 rupees for food and education. Okay, so for in a government school. But the thing is, if a minister does 10,000 crore scam, he's taking away the food of 1 crore children for 1 year and the education of those 1 crore children for 1 year. So that was a revelation, and that time I thought I should be a politician as well, because these politicians, they won't change. So the only way is to youngsters take over their mantle. But as you know, money, power, and everything, play so huge in these things. So I thought, what is the way out? I was just 28 then. So then I realized that what I have to do was, use the social media as a tool to break this jink and win the elections. So I was very young. I mean, 28, I contested. I got around 18,000 votes. I came fifth as an independent. Then I didn't give up. Again, 2011, I contested, and again I got third position. I got around 7,600 votes, and it was a huge achievement then. But I realized money, power, and the time is not ripe, and I need some more backing to face these big biggies and stuff like that to fight the corruption. So then I took part in Anazare anti-corruption movement. Then I was just in the meantime, right from my college pass out time, I mean 2006 onward, I've been addressing students in more than 2,000 functions. Almost half of my time went into those things. I've been addressing them, getting them jobs, training them, coaching them, mentoring them. Lots of kids will be very dejected. They wanted to suicide and stuff like that. So every Saturday and Sunday, I used to meet a few hundreds of people and give them some suggestions and stuff like that. So that was, and also I had a foundation in 2010, Hunger Free India Foundation, where we feed lots of poor kids, old age people. Then we pay fees for of single parent children like me and stuff like that. So then I realized, there was not even a single party where I could, align my values and fight for the people, work for the people, and service the people. So then in 2000, like when the party Makal Nidhi Mayam was started, 2018, I joined as a member, and from 2018, I was a passive member. But two months back, I joined them very actively, and I applied for a seat, and I had an opportunity to contest from Alandur constituency, which comprises of Alandur, Nanganallur, then Adambakam, then Aipantangal, then St. Thomas Cantonment, Pallavaram Cantonment, then Manapakam, then Mogalivakam, Molivakam, all those areas. So Kovur, all these areas. So it's a mix of village as well as a mix of urban, and each area has different issues. And even the basic things are not solved in Kovur and those village belt. And here still lots of water logging, and the Adambakam area which is in this area has lots of problems. I mean, it doesn't have, it is not properly maintained and stuff like that. So I'll be focusing on jobs for each and every kid in the constituency. I'll be focusing on making mentoring entrepreneurs. I'll be focusing on a free coaching center for IAS, IPS, and IIM BITS learning. Then I'll be focusing on putting up Oro plants in Movasanpet. I'll be focusing on attaching Movasanpet in the corporation limit, because the existing DMK politician doesn't want it to be in the corporation limit. So I'll be pushing on that, lots of things like that. And whatever people comes and no, I'll be among people to fight for them as a representative for them.
I'm sure your journey is a source of inspiration for a lot of people who are sort of looking at something like this. So this is like you had mentioned, you contested twice, and then this is your third foray.
Yeah.
So how is this time different for you in terms of your electoral journey and your current recent campaigning experience? So if you could talk us through about the campaign trail and what you've been seeing on
See,
the campaign.
my experience all the time I've been continuously working with people. So I work with water bodies, cleaning water bodies and putting up trees and watering them and stuff like that. I work lots of NGOs, lots of schools, colleges. So all these 13, 14 years, what happened is silently I got to address nearly 20 lakh people, which is huge. I mean, like 20 lakh is huge. Like my max was like addressing around 42,000 people. So these people, I mean, these friends, these followers, these fans became my, supporters. So today, when I go to any street, any home, any area, they say that I mean, I met in this college, I met in that college, we met in this function, that function, and they say that we do the campaign in a small level. Each people doing 50, 60, 100 people. So it's been overwhelming, and we are gaining pace each and every day. I'm very hopeful that we will win. And just imagine, like, the moment a guy from such a background winning the election without money power, it's going to be the change of politics in the state. So that's what I'm trying to reach for past 12 years, and that's my dream of 12 years, and which I think with the Makal Nidhi Mayam party and the torchlight symbol, I'll be able to achieve it.
And like you spoke about how you were up against like heavyweights in the past. So again, you're running against the incumbent
Yeah.
DMK candidate, and also the ADMK candidate who's previously represented the Alandur candidate, the constituency. So what is your strategy to counter them in terms of what is your approach to
Yeah, I do
dissecting
a
their work?
strategies. I mean, I do a top down as well as a bottom up strategy. So I interact with a few thousands of people directly. I go door to door. I mean, nearly 40,000 pamphlets have been given. Out of that, I would have met at least 3 to 4,000 people directly in their homes, and talking to them and explaining. So I wanted to meet all the people in the constituency. That we have been doing for past 4 5 days. And apart from that, I'm just calling them and talking to people whom I know in the constituency. I've spoken to at least 500 numbers so far, and I get calls as well, because I'm a socially well networked person in social media as well as in the public. So people, the moment they know that I'm one of their candidate, I mean, they call and they say that we are very happy to vote for Remanam, and that too, if you are a candidate, we are the most happiest people in the state. So that was the message I get. And lots of guys, youngsters, they say, Anna, we are very happy that you are contesting. It's our pleasure to support. And lots of people, I mean, many people, they call and extend their support. Not only them, their family, and it's a silent revolution which is happening. I think we will win. We will win for sure. And apart from that, I'm trying to take some. See, it's about money. Each and every last time when I contested in 2011, we spent around 7 lakhs. The limit was 15, 16 lakhs, right? And we spent around 7 lakhs. So the other people spent somewhere around 10 crores for a single MLA constituency, and today the budget has almost tripled. And the government also tripled the budget, like from 15 lakhs they have increased to 30 lakh and 80,000, right? So but the regular people, they spend, like, I mean, lavishly. So people should understand that if somebody is going to spend 20 crores, 15 crores in an election, They're not doing social service over there. Obviously, that's the root of corruption. They want to take it back with interest and principle. That's their mindset in the next 5 years. So why to in the first place support people like them? Why to support people like them? So they should uproot these kind of people in the first thing itself. So that's my thing, and I'm trying my best to do that. Let's see.
And so we'd also had a conversation with Mr. Anbarasan
Yeah.
about what he had managed to do despite being an opposition MLA in the assembly and the roadblock. So, from your assessment of what work has happened in the constituency, where are the places where you think he could have done better?
See, I mean, he built the underbridge, but it is waterlogged at least a month or two whenever rains happens, right? The lots of traffic issues are there. Adambakam area is not there just for past 10 years or 15 years. It's there for quite some time, right? So they were in two terms. Sitting the current MLA as well as the candidate who's contesting from the ruling party. So they could have done it. It's a very simple thing. Like even citizens join together and pursue it and finish it. But if they cannot do only, I mean, the ruling party lays the I mean, they put the foundation stone 3 months before the election, and the opposition party do protest 3 months before the election. So we have two parties which are like which are like this. So they don't have very sincere approach towards solving the people's problem. So I think we as a party, our party stands for honest. Our leader stands for honesty. So and we want to honestly try and change the system and change the politics in the state.
So you had spoken about how you are trying to be different, and the party
Yeah.
set apart from the available sort of options that people have traditionally had so far. So, what aspects of your campaign promises and your party's manifesto do you see are the differentiators that could get you votes?
Absolutely, they are all game changers. See, our party has promised a computer for each home. In the first place, if anybody looks at it, we might think it's a freebie which we are giving, but that's not so. What we are trying to do is like we are just giving the empowerment to the people. In what ways? If each family of four or five, they travel to each and every government offices at least 10 to 15 times, right? Minimum 10 to 15 times. So each time if they spend even 200 rupees, so the moment this savings, it's like 3 to 4,000 rupees. They are saving that amount for the family, and also that's direct expenses for them. And when they go and meet, even though it is online, they say, but the only the printout is online. But still, we have to meet someone over there and give some bribe, 500 rupees or 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees. Imagine the kind of embarrassment, the kind of difficulty, the kind of I mean, improvement which is going to happen in people's life. I mean, anything and everything will come in our own home, and we don't have to meet any government official to get any kinds of services. So that will uproot corruption, and that will straight away save lots of money and put some money in the people's pocket. And apart from that, we want to focus on skill development. What is skill development? The moment we introduce skill development, it means that the people's skills are going to improve, and that is going to help us in the GDP of the state. The state is in the immense debt, nearly 5.5 lakh crores. So which means that even if you consider, 5 crore, 5.5 crore people, even the kid born today has 50,000 debt on his or her head. So it's ridiculous. We have governments like these, so we should get rid of them. And we have so these are the plans which we wanted to take the state back to its numero uno position, step by step.
And so in our sort of beat where we speak with residents, so we've heard we had done a story on property tax, and some of the
Yeah.
cities, some of the areas that were made part of the corporation in 2011 are paying some of the highest amounts of property tax, despite not getting services that are comparable to, say, places in the heart of the city. So, have you heard about this during your
Yeah,
campaign?
yeah, absolutely, definitely. I mean, in the Chennai city, the taxes are very less, but in the Alandur areas, I mean, that taxes are high. Definitely, this feedback I got from the people. I want to pursue this, and I want to fight for the people and reduce the tax as equal to the Chennai corporation. That's the plan. And I wanted to put up government college, arts and science college in Kovur, and then Nandambakam area, because if you see the people, they don't have bus facilities, and the kids over there, they travel to AM Jain and Chelamal and other colleges in the city, and without proper bus facility, traveling here and pursuing studies, it's a big problem. Even more so for women candidates, women students. So we wanted to improve their life and their comfort and everything. So we wanted to put up a government college over there in their own place. So these things are very basic issues which is there for quite some time. But the people, the sitting MLA was there for a couple of terms, who was a minister as well. I mean, such powerful positions, they could not do all these simple things. I doubt how they are going to do for even more Simbet is still a village panchayat, no, but it is very close to two zones. I mean, Madipakam on this side, and Alandur, Nanganallur on the other side. I know, but still an area with around 10 to 15,000 voters. They are still, in the village panchayat. I mean, this has to change. So, I mean, the current sitting MLA doesn't want that to happen, because the local people will lose their power. So he doesn't want that to happen. So their interest is put first, and people interest are put second. So I wanted to, change that. And also we wanted to put RO plants in each and every water tank. See, poor people, just spending 40 rupees per day. It's a huge amount for them. In a month, they have to spend nearly 1,000 rupees for water. So I wanted to put water RO plants under each and every tank, and reduce their expenses. Also, I mean, today the petrol and every cost has increased. So I wanted to comfort the people in whatever way possible, without much spendings, and whatever money I get through the MLA funding, I want to maximize the people's benefits through that.
And so you'd spoken about your entrepreneurial journey and your and the fact that you created jobs. So I think like youth unemployment is a major issue in all parts of the country, especially in the city where there are a lot of educated youth who are looking for opportunities. So how would you translate your entrepreneurial skills if elected? Then do you have a sort of plan for how you can engage the youth and find like gainful employment for your constituents?
See, I've been like doing this for past 15 years. Even Tamil Nadu government never did the work which I did for past 15 years. The thousands of youngsters have mentored and motivated them, and took them out of, cluelessness in life, and, in entrepreneurship as well. So what I want to do is conduct them many sessions, and motivate them and support them with some funds, like guide them. And also in this way, when we make more entrepreneurs, there's a Chinese proverb: instead of giving them fish, try to teach them fishing. So I want to make many entrepreneurs who will in turn give jobs to the rural youths over there. And also I wanted to encourage them to learn about more about other new areas of entrepreneurship and pursue some business. And also I want to, since I have huge connect with the corporates, I would like to connect some campus placements and stuff like that, in the constituency, and make sure like everybody get whatever jobs they needed. I'll try to match up with each and every student, youngster in the constituency, with the companies, through my network.
And you had also spoken about how you managed to, even a decade ago, sort of recognize and harness social media to your advantage. So, do you have any special sort of outreach plans for your constituents? Like now you said you meet everybody in person, and
There are certain secret plans which we wanted we don't want to I don't want to disclose, I think, which is very unique compared to anyone else in the state, which we plan to do it. So maybe whenever we were on road, or whenever you get to know, I mean, you will get to know that if you are in the constancy, for sure.
okay. All right, all right. So we'll try and figure out what your plan.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And finally, so I think this is a larger question for that your party has been fielding, I think, in its recent history. So both now that you've not aligned with either of the main parties in the state, there have been allegations that you're the B team of either of these parties, and your party is mainly splitting votes in favor of one party or the other. So what do you have to say to that sort of comment that you get?
I'm experienced in this. I'm seeing this from 2009. There are no one to say that we are splitting votes. Splitting votes is not their ancestral property. Votes are not their ancestral property, right? we are citizen of this country, and we have each and every right to contest elections and gain the confidence of people, and serve them. So this is a ploy to just confuse people, and people are not the same 10 years before, right? Today they wanted change. They wanted to vote for new people. They know the tricks which these people play for past quite some time. So this is just a ploy of any newcomer who's coming, and they are threatened, and this time they will realize that their time is over. We will really make inroads, and we will win many seats, and God willing, we'll definitely see a much better prospects. Lots of undercurrents are there. I'm sure you would have interacted with many people in your neighborhood, in your friend circle. I'm sure what is the undercurrent that's happening. They're just ignoring these two parties. They just don't want these two parties. They want something new, and that new is Makkal Needhi Mayyam Katchi. Our leader, like so honest. So even in the selection of candidates, you look at my profile, you look at Velachery candidate profile, Santosh Babu IAS sir. Imagine a 2,000 crore contract. If he wanted, he could have got some money out of it. But he stood for honesty, and he came out of the IAS. As people know how difficult it is to get into IAS, to refuse that, and he has lots of service, nearly 8 years of service left. To come out of that, something is dream. To become an IAS will be a dream of each and every citizen of this country. To come out of that, living that for honesty, it's not an easy sacrifice. So we have candidates like that. So I mean, people know that what we stand for and who we are. I'm there in the. I'm 40 now, 41 now. So, but I'm there in the service right from 27. When I had to earn my first salary, I'm there in the public service. So I have a long track record. The whole people know. They don't have to give certificate. We are vote splitters and nonsense. Like, they are there for past 50 years. What they have done for the state. Today whatever we are, it's not because of them. It's because of the earlier leaders. Also, it's because of the people of the state. We are much intelligent, much matured, much thought leaders. So that's the reason we are all. Is Sundar Pichai is Google CEO because of them? No, right? So that's the story of each and everybody who have come up in life in the state.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sparing your time and answering all of our questions. So we hope to find out what your outreach strategy is, and also good luck. Good luck on the campaign trail and for the elections as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.